Welcome to part 4 of ChinaX, a new national culture. Bill Kirby and I are here to give you a brief introduction to what we'll be doing in part 4. Now, Bill, as you know, this is a period of Chinese history that I actually write articles and books about. And so I'm very interested in knowing what you, as somebody who is an expert in the modern period of Chinese history, particularly the 20th and 21st century, when you look back to, let's say, the Sung dynasty, which went from the late 10th into the 13th century, what are the things you think of?
I think of that question that we will ask again to everybody later on in this course. When is modern China begun? But I think you can see many of the elements that define modern China beginning already in the Sung. Aspects of economic life, of commercial life, of political organization that would have a very, very long afterlife well into the 19th and 20th centuries. You know, for example, we talk about cosmopolitan Tang. Well, arguably, certainly the southern Sung is a lot more cosmopolitan than the Tang at its height could be said to be. You have a transition from a very state-led economy in Tang to one that is increasingly a private economy in Sung. No longer does the state own all the land. Right. Farmers own their land. Farmers can get rich in a way not possible, really, in Tang in the same way. It is a place that experiments with and then sets the foundation for a millennium of civil service examinations, which end only in 1905. A model for the rest of the world in terms of how to bring in a meritocratic way the very best people into government. This is a challenge for every country. It's still a challenge for China today, but you can see in the Sung examination systems the beginning of both a very ambitious practice and what a Japanese scholar, Miyazaki, once called China's examination hell, something that continues through the Gaokao, the higher examination for university in China today.
And in fact, we make that parallel in our discussion of the examination.
It's a dynamic period. And of course, it's a divided period as well.
With foreign invasion taking place at the same time. You know, I think that very often when we talk about China's history, we tend to think of an omnipresent government with all powers. And there's more truth to that perhaps for Tang than there is to later periods. That I think precisely the growth of the private economy and a new kind of Confucianism which sort of relocates the authority over moral values and morality from the state to the self, to the individual, to at least the educated individual. That these are all developments that go against this picture some people have of China as the autocratic, despotic state that controls everything in society.
And it's a moment, you know, all these silly debates that you find in China and in the rest of the world today. Are the Chinese not innovative? Can they be innovative? And so on. In this case, here we have, in Sung times, some of the great inventions for which China and Chinese, or residents of Sung, shall we say, are responsible. That is to say, gunpowder, the compass, the mariner's compass, paper currency in the first serious experiment with a non-coinage based
and the
currency.
Commercialization of printing means that knowledge can spread further at a lower price than before.
It's the MOOC of its day.
It's the MOOC of its day. Mariner's compass allows you to go out of the sight of land in seafaring. We actually have books from the 11th century showing how to use gunpowder to send missiles and projectiles. But to see more about that, to learn about art, philosophy, history, and the economy during this period, the foundation of later imperial China, join us for part 4 of ChinaX.